This video is designed to talk you through population structure and pyramids with relation to your GCSE course. To start with, some of the definitions that you'll need to know. This first one is population structure. This describes a population in relation to age and gender. Population pyramid relates to population structure because this is a graph which represents population structure. So the two aspects of population structure which a population pyramid show are age and gender, so they are both related. If we come across and have a look at this diagram, we can see the four main shapes of population pyramids that you might see. So as you would expect, age is up the middle. We've got males on the left side, females on the right. In this diagram, this stage 1 represents some of the poorest LEDCs that we would see in the world. So that really relates to countries such as the African sub-Saharan countries. Okay, those are the examples. As we move across the diagram, this is the richest MEDCs that we would see. So countries like the UK and Germany would appear in here. And it's really a continuous sort of line between the poorest LEDCs with their wide base, steeply sloping sides and relative short height, and the contrast which we have over here with the MEDCs having their narrow base, their reasonably straight sides and their reasonably tall population pyramids. Some of the aspects or the terms that you need to have when you're describing population pyramids can be indicated down below. So, for example, on this population pyramid, you will want to talk about the size of the base. The base relates to birth rates. Okay. Other aspects that you want to look at is how steeply sloping the sides are. So in this example we have steep sides, and that indicates a high death rate. Okay. This here represents life expectancy. So the taller the pyramid, the longer the life expectancy. All indicators for development. At stages like this where we have a bulging section, that indicates immigration. And if we had an indent in this section like this, that would indicate emigration, so people moving out of the area. Dependency is the number of people who rely on the working population for support, and this is divided up into youth dependency and age dependency. Youth dependency that relates to the section of the population under 16, and they rely on the economically active for support. The economically active are the working section of the population, and it's typical in an LEDC for them to have a high youth dependency. This can be seen in a typical LEDC shape which we have here. You can see that we have high numbers of the population under the age of 16. They rely on the working population for support, so this is referred to as a youth dependent country, typical in most LEDCs. Age dependency is the section of the population over 65. They rely on the economically active for support, so again the working population, and this is typical in MEDCs. It's typical in MEDCs because their healthcare is much better and people have a much longer life expectancy and live to a longer age, so therefore there's a greater elderly population to look after, and this is seen in this example which we have here. So if I just remove some of these labels, you can see that in this example we have a fairly tall population pyramid. So in this example we have a tall population pyramid which indicates a long life expectancy. So everyone over the age of 65 in this part of the pyramid here are looked after by the economically active. We pay our taxes, the healthcare is good for them, and they survive well. Down at the bottom end you can see here that this straight sides in these sections indicate that the birth rate is low and it's staying fairly low, and the straight sides also indicate that there's low death rates throughout this population.